Hello, my name is Mordred and I would like to welcome you to episode 1 of the European Universalis 4 Cossacks DLC Let's Play as the custom nation of Stormwind. As I said last episode, I did investigate what was going on over here with the Holy Roman Empire, and quite frankly I still can't find who the Emperor is. It seems to be a bit wonky. I did look in the ledger for Holy Roman Emperors, and I see he's from the country of Cleves. When I click on it, it just goes to Stormwind. I then did a search for Cleves, with a K, not a C, and it doesn't exist. The country with a C, which I believe is the country in question, is up here, but has a different crest. Where's it gone? There. So I really don't know who the Emperor is right now. I'm rather hoping that he will at some point die, and then an election will take place and the next one will come in. But for the moment it's just a little strange. Anyway, we need to start thinking about how to actually expand with Stormwind. Obviously, the main opponent right now is going to be Northumbria. They have a larger army than us, they have a larger navy than us, and most importantly, they have 3 big ships, which I do not have any, so we have no real way of countering that. Therefore, if we do go to war with them, Ayrshire is basically gone. We can't hold it. So I'm going to have to rely on them trying to land troops in Ireland proper, and then meeting them with an amphibious attack and hopefully beating their numbers. So first things first, we need more troops. We are 4 under the force limit over here, so we need to build some more. Let's get 2 more infantry and 2 cavalry. I think it's a good number. Now, if we had some money left over, I think I would start investing in some heavy ships, just so we have something to counter them with. They do cost 50 each, so we're going to have to wait a little while for the money to tick up. As such, I'm not yet going to get any advisors, and I think I will reduce the army maintenance just so we have a little more money. The 7 transports I begin with, we are an island, so we will need them at some point, but for the moment I'm just going to mothball them. We're not going to need them immediately. And then trade ships. We do have 9 light ships, which is actually a pretty good number at this point of the game. Yes, you can see we're actually pretty high up on that ranking. If we look over here at the trade network, we are solidly in the North Sea. One thing I have noticed, if you look over here, usually there's a line coming from the Americas into the North Sea. That is not here. This could be either the random map, where basically we just don't know where the trade routes are yet, so it's not displaying them. Or, and this could be more problematically, there isn't one going to the North Sea. So at some point we are going to have to get into the English Channel if we want a piece of that pie. We'll see when that comes. Yes. The next thing we need to do is look at our rivals. Obviously the biggest threat we have is Northumbria, so we need to see who their enemies are and see if we can suck up to them and make friends basically. Aberdeenshire also hates us, so we're not going to be able to make friends with them. The other one is Burgundy. While tempting, where are they? Burgundy here. They don't actually have any North Sea, or Channel coastline over here, or even onto the Atlantic. Their ships and their reinforcements have to come all the way around, so they're not really a good ally to have. However, over here we have the massive nation of Kola, who do have a large navy and do have a large army. They are, however, orthodox, so just won't like us as much. Another alternative would be Sweden. I think Sweden would be an excellent choice for an ally, so we'll make friends with them. We also need to start thinking about how exactly we will expand. We could either attack some of these smaller nations and basically take the land before Northumbria has a chance, or we could go directly for Aberdeen. Unfortunately they own all the little islands, which I'd quite like to get my hands on. I think we might go for Wales, except Wales quite likes us. No, we'll go for Aberdeenshire, so I'm going to start making a claim on the Highlands. Is that the most valuable? This is a value 3, it's a value 3, it's a value 3. Aberdeenshire is really not very valuable, so we'll go for the Highlands, that's fine. And then at least when we station an army in the Highlands, we hold it. If an enemy attacks us, we are fighting in the Highlands. That gives us a pretty nice defensive bonus. So Highlands, diplomacy, fabricate claim, Highlands, do it. Okay, back to the trade map mode. We need to decide where to put our 2 merchants. The first choice would certainly be in the North Sea over here. Having a merchant there increases the amount of basically the income modifier, so the amount of money that you make in a trade node is shown over here. That is then modified further by the modifier, and then your chunk of the total trade value is over here in the trade power. The more trade ships that you have in an area basically contributes to the amount of trade power you get. So with our light ships we're going to protect trade in the North Sea. Off they go. One little tip I have is I always name my light ships to the region they are protecting. This way I can see at a glance over here in the organizer precisely what they are doing. Likewise with my transports, I generally name them transports, so I know where they are. And then when we have a combat fleet, I'll usually name that the battle fleet, so it's very easy to see where the troops are and where we need to go with them. The next thing we need to do is see what is feeding into the North Sea. At the moment it's only the White Sea, which we cannot reach. We don't have the trade range, which is why it's all greyed out. Also, that node is quite frankly worthless, so I'm not going to bother. The alternative is to stick a merchant in the English Channel or in Lubeck, which we're currently feeding trade into, and this will basically shove trade back towards us. It's very inefficient, but I think it's the way to go right now. Okay, that is trade sorted. We are making troops, we're doing a claim, we are making friends with Sweden. We should also have a look who else we can be friendly with. Down here we have a nice new button. It says who your friends are. Friends. We have no friends. Great. Neighbours, how much do they like us? They don't. How about... Where's everyone? Clear. Sweden likes us the most, Albuquerque, Altmark. None of those are going to be very useful, except perhaps Aragon. Interesting. We may have to investigate Aragon after we've done with the claim in Aberdeenshire. Okay, rivals. Obviously, we're going to do Northumbria and Aberdeen. The rivalry basically means if we go to war with them, or if we do any actions against them, we get power projection points. Power projection is a very, very important aspect of the game. It basically gives you bonuses which empower you and depower your enemies. So once you have over 25 power projection, you get an extra leader without upkeep. This is really, really useful because at the start of the game you can only have one leader except for your ruler, who doesn't count. If you manage to get up to 50 power projection, you get 3 free monarch points a month. This is huge. Monarch points are very rare. They generate fairly slowly and you need a lot of them. Monarch points are what determines your technology levels, they determine your ideas, you get extra abilities that you can play with them. They're important. We're going to need them. Right, I think that is... ah yes, the mission. We have a mission that we could go and conquer the Highlands. We could do this right now. Interesting, that does rather change things, so let's bring this guy back. We don't need a claim there. Basically what that mission does is it gives us a free claim on the Highlands, so we could declare war straight away. How strong is their army? Let's have a look over here. Highlands... oh no, that's not Highlands, that's Aberdeen. My bad. Aberdeenshire, they have a total of 6,000 men. Our army as it stands would utterly crush them. So let's head over to Ayrshire and get ready for war. We also need a leader for our army. For the time being, I'm just going to make our ruler a general. He's pretty pathetic, really. He has no shock value, which in the early game is the most important. He does have some siege value, so if they had a castle, which they do always in their capital, but they don't seem to have any other forts, then that will capture more quickly. So let's march him over. The only thing we need to kind of be worried about is whether Northumbria gets involved in this scrap. either intervening on Aberdeen's side, which is unlikely because they hate each other too, or attacking Aberdeen themselves, and then basically we have to carve the lands up between us. I don't really want to do that. I'd quite like it all for myself. But for the moment, let's just start the game. So, light ships are heading off, the army's heading off. We're getting an alliance offer from Kent. Kent is down here, they're tiny, not really want them. Brittany. Brittany is more tempting. Brittany has a large chunk of land, they probably have a fairly decent navy. Yes, I will accept that one. Let's actually have a look at what the Brittany navy is like. Brittany, 7 light ships. That's okay. In my own mathematics, or working out the relative power of ships, I generally reckon that 2 galleys fighting in an inland sea, so in the Mediterranean, is equal to 1 large ship, or 4 light ships. The reason for that is if we look up here, you can see the number of cannons, the number of hull. A bark, which is the light ship, has 10 cannons and 8 hull. A large ship has 40 cannons and 20 hull, so with 4 light ships you're equaling their firepower and you actually have more durability. Okay, they have no allies, we can go straight in. Go. We're going to go straight for the Highlands. Their army is probably in Aberdeenshire over here. Yes, we need to get you guys to stop doing that. We need to send our trade fleet back home in case their fleet decides to try and intercept us, which they may. Okay, so their army has moved down here to Fife. We're in the Highlands. We have a couple of men here in Ayrshire in case we need them. We've taken the Highlands. Let's gang up and attack. Fife is green grasslands. That means I get no defensive bonus. We should basically crush them here. Okay, first round goes to us. They are running away. They are going to the Highlands. We will merge, we will leave behind some siege, and we will chase them. We now have 16 ships here. This is our full fleet with our 7 transports and 9 light ships. They have 9 light ships and 4 transports. We do have the majority. We do not have a leader. Do we want a leader? 50 diplomatic power? No, because we need that diplomatic power for the peace treaty. So we'll just leave them be for the time being. We will give chase. Hopefully their navy won't try and lock us into the North Channel. If they do, we'll send our own fleet, but we'll deal with that if that happens. Okay, we have defeated their army. We are now occupying the Western Isles. We've occupied Fife. Let's head up here. Okay, so see, they've decided to blockade us. We are going to have to intervene. We are going to have... no, I'll take the risk. Ah, something I'd forgotten to do. One of the new aspects of Cossacks is basically you have estates, and estates control parts of your country. So the 3 estates are the burghers, the clergy and the nobility. Each group needs to control territory, and the more territory they control, the more influence they exert, and the bigger the bonuses they give to your country. However, if their influence gets too strong, then they will actually try and break away from your state and form their own. So you have to balance their power requirements with their actual growing power in the game. So myself, being an oligarchic republic, I need burghers. And it shows you here somewhere how much they require. Here we go. So the burghers currently control 0% of non-overseas development. That means they have to take lands in the homelands. I can't give them like colonial estates or whatever. And they require at least 20% of my total holdings. This is only territory, it is not development, I believe. I'll give them some fairly worthless land and we'll see if that holds true. So down here you can see estates. Click on that, give it to the burgher, click. Okay, this land is now owned by the burghers. Because they are in control, the province autonomy is modified. Let's see. The minimum province autonomy is 25. Right, yes, low autonomy is good, so basically they'll always be 25% less efficient. However, the local trade power, because these guys are the traders, the merchants, the trading classes, increase the local trade power, so it would actually be worth giving them land where there is some trade power, which is under... Basically you want to give them where there is a river estuary or a centre of trade, which I don't seem to have any of. No, I do not. Okay, so we'll give them Connacht and Leinster. How much land does that give them now? That's 12%. We need to give them some more. We'll give them higher share. I still want more. Criminy, these guys are greedy. Okay, we will give meth to the nobility. Now, the way that this works is they have the same autonomy restrictions as the Burghers, however they give manpower instead of local trade. So you actually want to give them land which has high base manpower value or a high military development. So it's 500, 125, 187, 1,800, but I don't particularly want to give them my capital. Capital's mine. So yes, I'll give meth to the nobility. That should keep them happy. It does. They now control 18% to the Burghers 16, so we'll have to give Ulster to the Burghers as well. Well, we're having to give a lot of land away. Now, you can see the Burghers, because they have high influence, they give us reduced development costs, which is huge for my planned playstyle. Remember, we're going to probably have a fairly small chunk of land. We'll see if we take the whole of the UK, I'm not sure, but that small chunk of land we want to build high instead of wide. I'm not expecting to go on any massive continental conquests over here. Maybe Scandinavia, because it's fairly coastal and easy to hold. Ireland for sure, Scotland, well, we're going for it right now, and quite probably England and Wales too. The other benefits given, trade efficiency, again huge, it means that we'll be earning more money. The clergy gives us national tax modifier, so our taxes are more efficient, we get more money out of them. And the nobility gives us manpower recovery speed. This is actually a very useful bonus because it increases the speed of which you get this manpower up here. So you see we're currently gaining 111 every month. As we have higher manpower recovery, that number will go up, as well as if we have more just general manpower and military development in our nation. Right, so we are waiting for our ships to arrive up here. We have 3 ships more than them, but they do have an admiral. Their admiral is a 101, so he's not great. It'll be touch and go whether we win this though, I'm really not too sure. We may actually lose some ships, so we are losing ships. We have taken Orkney, excellent. Let's move you to the Highlands. Really losing ships rather rapidly over here, I don't like this. So it's the light ships they are destroying as well, and they're the ones that we really want to keep for the trade. Okay, so we've defeated their army over there. We're still stuck in... That was a really bad decision to go after that. So now it's basically our transports against their light ships. We do have the morale over them. They're doing a lot of damage to us, but we are starting to chip away at them now. Their light ships do have less hit points than transports do, but they do more damage. I think we will win this, but it's close. It's very, very close. Unfortunately, this of course weakens us against Northumbria, who's kind of sitting there going, yes, this is excellent, weaken yourselves. Okay, new trade research heretical, we can accept the demands and lose Diplo power, which we don't want to do. We're at war, we're going to get more prestige, that's fine. Okay, let's get our army off the island. And then, let's get you guys to prepare yourselves. So to Munster actually. And we will have to go on a fairly substantial ship rebuilding project after this war. It seems that Northumbria is not building any more troops. I wonder if they're at a force limit already. That would be rather nice if they are. Northumbria, force limit, oh, 21. They could build another 5 units. So basically it's their economy which is likely holding them back. Or they have another 5 units spirited away somewhere. No, they don't. That's all they have. Just bump up the speed a little just while we're waiting for the siege to tick over. Now, taking Scotland is actually going to put us in a bit of a tactical problem, because Northumbria will now be able to conquer more lands up here in the north and so get more war score, or they'll attack Ireland and take basically our homelands away, and we won't be able to really counter them. We basically have to keep our army in one or the other location. Their army is currently on like the mainland UK, so I will probably keep my army over here too, perhaps in the Highlands or in... yeah, the Highlands are really the only defensible location. Okay, we have Aberdeenshire, we have 99% war score with them. They have a low war enthusiasm, which means they really want to have peace with us, because we've kind of smashed them. So we're going to take as much land as we can. We're going to check the aggressive expansion. We're getting between 1 and 31, that's fine. That's not going to form any coalitions against us. We get 100 and yeah, that's fine. It'll be 24% over extension, that's also fine. We'll bump up the amount of money we get out of them, and we would also quite like to humiliate them. Humiliation is one of the most powerful treaty elements that you can take. Basically, it hugely increases the amount of power projection you get and hugely reduces the amount of projection they get. So we're getting a huge 44 out of this, while if we didn't humiliate them we only get 14. And remember, power projection is great, so with that 44 we will go over the 50 threshold, giving us the extra monarch points which we want. I could reduce the amount of money I'm getting slightly and take war reparations instead. I think I'm going to do that, because hopefully that will generate more money in the long term over time. This looks like a good deal to me. I would quite like to take these provinces. I wonder if I can. One of the changes in a recent patch or recent expansion is you can take lands you don't currently occupy. So yes, I could take the Shetlands. However, I wouldn't then be able to humiliate them. No, this is fine. I'll leave them in the islands. I can take them later. I do now share a coastline with them, so I can make claims on them. That's no problem. Let's do it. Bye-bye Aberdeen. We've completed the mission. We've taken the Highlands, which gives us manpower, recovery speed and more prestige. This is great. We've lost our CB against them, but that's fine. Most importantly, this... because we need to core it. So once we've finished coring these areas, and that's going to cost us admin points, we could make... I wonder if we can make them a vassal. Let's have a look. This UI has changed. Things aren't where I often expect things to be. Right, so I did have a look around to see if I could find where the ability to create a vassal is. I'm going to guess it's locked in here in the show diplomatic actions, but I cannot currently do that, most likely because there are no other cores in these areas. This is all just ours, or Aberdeen's rather, and Aberdeen still exists as a country. I could have taken Aberdeen as a vassal themselves. I probably had the war score to do that. However, I would then have to deal with their liberty desire, and any country with, or any vassal with a liberty desire over 50% will not fight in wars with you. They'll join the war, of course, but they won't actually fight in it. So we'd have an army sitting up here, which would probably be about half my total troops, not contributing unless they themselves get attacked, but they would not then attack back. I would also then have to deal with the rebellious risk. Other countries might support them for independence, in which case that would draw me into extra wars. I just don't want to deal with that. I'd rather take the lands for myself, which is what I have done. I could now, in the future, take Aberdeen after the truce, which ends in, let's see, 15 years or so, and add them to my empire that way. It's probably the way to expand. We'll see when we get to that point. For now, though, I'm quite happy with this. I will start coring. Do I have any war exhaustion? I have some, which is increasing that price. I'll wait a little while. I'm not in any real overextension danger here. Move my army back to the Highlands and let's just let time tick over. Why am I losing money? Ah, because I'm not trading. And I have no ships to trade with, really. Oh well. You guys are the transports. And you guys are the North Sea. And we're on this. Let's take a look at what trade I'm shunting back. So Stormwind is currently moving. Where's it gone? Oh, scrolled. 1.7 trade back up to, oh no. Yeah, I'm transporting it. Except I'm not. Is that because I have a merchant here? So I'm in fact pulling, but this is an endpoint. Where would that be going? Okay, I honestly have no idea what's happening there. I could collect from trade, but then I would lose bonus here, but I'm not, yeah, it's not really worth it. I may as well just collect trade here. So, collect instead. So I'm going to start making some money out of the English Channel too. The reason I was hesitating there is usually you get a bonus depending on the number of merchants you have feeding a trading point, but because I don't actually have anyone feeding the North Sea, I wouldn't lose that bonus. Ordinarily that bonus could be pretty hefty, so for example when I was playing Genoa in this area, I had lots of trade being pushed into Genoa. You can see how many connections they have going there. It's a hugely profitable location, and basically I was getting 10, 20, 30, 40, 50% at least bonus to my trade value because of not collecting trade elsewhere. That's just one of the little mechanics of the game that you need to consider. How quickly is war exhaustion ticking down? Not very quickly. Uh-oh. Okay, so here we are. Northumbria has declared war on us. They have 16,000 men to my 14. We currently have a fleet out at sea. We want to keep them in. We'll put you to... Oh, no, we won't mothball you. We have a general. They apparently do not. We are going to have to take some loans. We're going to need some mercenaries. It's worth investing a fair amount into this war, I think. So let's start getting some reinforcements here. Now, because they have naval superiority, we're basically screwed if they attack us in Ireland. We're going to have to thrash them quite soundly here in Scotland. They will blockade us, most likely. Don't know how much help Brittany will be. They do have a fleet, though no heavy ships, so they probably just stay docked. Or at least that's certainly what I would do if I were them. Okay, so they're going for Ayrshire, most likely because they want Ulster, which is quite reasonable. I should really attack them, but they do now have a leader who is, well, quite a lot stronger than mine. He's got, see, 2 shock and 4 manoeuvrability. That means he's going to outmaneuver me and do more damage. This is really not a good situation to be in. But to see how this ends up, you'll have to join me for the next episode. Sorry about the cliffhanger, guys, but we should try and keep these episodes to a reasonable length. Please do join me then. Like and subscribe to the channel so you can help it grow. This is Mordred, and I look forward to seeing you in the next episode.